Hello again, everyone. Vince here, and welcome back to another practice session of Tai Chi Easy. So we've done a lot in the past sessions, and we're doing the complete form of Tai Chi Easy now. So we're not going to do too much of a qigong this morning. We're just going to do a little bit of a warm up, and then get through the Tai Chi 5 form in a couple of different ways. Today we're going to do it on both sides, right side, left side, and in the middle of those, we usually have a little standing meditation just for a minute or two. You can make it as long or as short as you want. It just gives us a chance to focus before we restarting. But today, what we're going to do once we warm up a little bit is do the entire form, both sides standing. You get used to the idea of how it works. And then we're going to do the entire form walking both sides. So we've got a lot to cover, and let's get ourselves started. So let's make that connection with the body. We align between heaven and earth. We adjust our posture to match the Wu Ji posture, feet shoulder width, soft knees, tailbone pointing towards the floor, crown of the head lifting up. Relax the shoulders a little bit, give them a little bit of a shake. Make sure the feet are solidly planted on the floor. You don't want to have the weight shifted over to one side or the outside of the foot. Front to back, left to right, the weight should be even. And let's connect with the breath. Nice deep breath in, filling the belly, filling the chest. Long, slow, deep exhale. Good. Let's do a few more of those. Let the mind think about how you're breathing, when you're breathing. What's the quality of the air you're bringing in? And then finally, make that connection to the mind. Make sure that we're not cluttered with a lot of other thoughts of things we need to do in the future or things that we forgot to do in the past. Right now, we should be here in the present, just standing, breathing, and doing almost no thinking. All right, now let's just loosen up the body a little bit with knocking on Heaven's Gate. Loosening the knees, the hips, the spine, the shoulders. There's a lot that happens in this very simple exercise. And of course, don't forget the lungs. Give them a little tap. Some of you are probably wondering about, well, what about the rest of the organs? Well, we can do that. We can always focus on different organs and different pressure points. For instance, the kidneys would be just in a little bit closer, right on the collarbone or just below it. But with what's going on in the world today, we think it's really important to focus on the lungs and our breathing. So that's why I usually go there. All right, let's let the body become quiet. Good. Now, let's bring our feet together. We're going to start out with the Tai Chi form stationary, but we're going to do the opening as well as the closing. So, feet together, still keep those knees soft, still adjust that tailbone a little bit. And remember, we're going to be talking window side, wall side. So here we go. Hands on our belly to start. And sink all the weight into the window side leg. Step out with the wall side, sweep the window hand across, grab your ball and part the wild horse's mane once, twice, three times, keeping that spine nice and tall. Now, grab the ball, turn it over. Your wall side hand should be on top and the ball should be on your window side hip. Push down with the top hand, float the bottom hand up, and we brush knee. Bring the ball over to the wall side hip. Eyes up, spine tall. Push down, float up, turn. Okay, one last time. Remember, we do 3 and 3. Now we embrace the tiger. That upper hand comes across the chest. The lower hand comes up. we turn towards the window side and open that arm backwards and then turn back to the front. That's 1. 2, turning to the other side. 3, and here's the 4th as we turn to the wall side. Now we want to transition, even though it looks like I'm starting again, but that window side hand comes out, the wall side hand crosses. Good. Now, lift the arms open, and we're going to take that wall side hand, big sweeping circle all around the front, turn back to the wall, turn back to the window, and turn back to the wall again. The number of times on this depends on how many times you decide to step out and step back. So let's transition, crossing the arms, opening the toes, turning the toes out, and we do our gather. Typically, I do this 3 times. Nice tall spine as you do it. Keep the spine relatively straight. We're not bending at the waist. Good. Now, make the feet parallel once again. Lower the hands slowly, but instead of going all the way down, we're going to pull the arms out as if we're embracing a tree. Drop the tailbone a little bit. Keep the spine nice and tall. And just breathe into the lower dantian. This is our meditation posture. You can do your meditation for as long or as short as you like. It's just a point of saying to the body, we're finished with one side, and we're going to transition and do the other side. I like standing meditation, so I very often do this for several minutes. But today, we're just going to lower the hands, shift all the weight to the window side leg, step back in as you raise the arms, slowly come down. Now, once the hands are all the way down, we're going to start again, but on the other side. So now I'm going to shift all my weight to the wall side leg, step out with the window side, sweep that wall side hand across, and part the wild horse's mane. That's 1. Here's 2. You can let yourself shift the weight if you'd like. And back. Now we transition, and notice it's on the other side. So we turn the ball over. The window side hand is now on top. We push down, float up, turn and push. Bring the ball in, push down with the wall side hand, float up the window, turn and push. That's 2. And now for the 3rd time and final time, brush knee, twist step. Good. Now we transition. We cross the arms. The upper arm comes across. The bottom arm comes up. But look now, the other arm is on closest to the heart. So we're going to turn to the wall side. Open. That's 1. Back to the center. Turn to the window side. That's 2. 3. And 4. Now we need to transition. So we're going to swing that wall side arm out and cross over. Now we lift the arms again. This time the window side arm makes that big sweeping circle all around the front. Turn back. Waving hands like clouds 3 or 4 times. Again, remember, when you're walking this form, the number of repetitions depends on how many times you're going to step out. So right now we're going to transition, turn the toes out, open, drop down. Gather from earth, gather from the sky. right, now turn the toes in, make the feet parallel, slowly bring the hands down. When the hands pass the heart, that's typically the time I rotate the palms forward. And now I'm going to shift all my weight into the left leg. Step in with the right as I raise the hands, do our bamboo in the wind. And then pause for a moment and breathe. Take your time. Good. And shake it out. Great, great. So that's doing the form both ways, stationary and walking, and doing it on both sides, left and right. Now, you don't always have to do it that way. If you only have time to do one side, that's fine. Maybe the next time you do it on the other side. Many people that I teach this really like doing it stationary. They don't like the walking part at all. That's fine too. You're still getting the same benefit. So you have to work for you what you feel best at, okay? I'm going to turn around like I did last time so that right and left will be the same for everybody so we don't get confused by window and wall side. I get confused sometimes. So we're going to turn around. Let's go through that whole process again of the walking form and get another feel, another look for how this all works. So feet together, spine nice and tall. All right, let's begin. Drop the hands, sink all the weight into the left leg. Step out with the right, sweep that left hand across, form your ball. Now, step forward with the left leg and part the wild horse's mane. That's one. Remember, as you step and go through the movement, that movement goes right down the center line. Here's two. Pull the hand back, bring the ball to your right hip, right hand high. There's the third and final. Now, grab your ball, turn the ball over as you bring it to your left hip, right hand high, push down, float up, brush knee. Same thing on the right side. We pull the ball back, push down with the top hand, float the bottom hand up, brush knee. And let's do one more. Push down, float up, step, and turn. Now, we cross the arms, embrace the tiger as you shift the weight back. Pick up the front toes. Remember, this is where we cut a path to clarity. We open the arms, open the chest, step back with the right leg. Turn to the right side, same thing, we open. This is number 2. This is number 3. And number 4. Okay, now I need to transition. So instead of doing it again, I swing that left arm out, make my right foot parallel to the left, embrace the tiger. Lift the arms, and I'm going to swing that left hand around, shift my weight to the right side so I can step into the left. Turn back, shifting the weight in the feet so I can step out with the left leg whenever I'm ready. Step in. Let's step out one more time with the left foot. Keep your feet wide. Finish your move, and then come back the way you came. Stepping in with the left. Shifting the weight so you can step out with the right. Step in one more time with the left. And one more time with the right. Now we embrace the tiger. Turn the toes out. Drop down. Last one. All right, make the feet parallel as you bring the hands down, but remember, we're going right into our meditation posture, as if we're hugging a tree. Drop the tailbone a little bit. Pull the chin in slightly. Lengthen the spine. Breathe down deep into the lower dantian. All right, let's lower the hands. Shift all the weight into the left leg. Step in with the right. Raise the hands to our bamboo in the wind. Get ready to start this again on the opposite side. This time we shift the weight to the right leg. Step out with the left and sweep the right hand across to grab the ball on the left hip. And then part the wild horse's mane. Pull back, bring the ball to the right hip, eyes up, spine tall, number 2. And here's number 3. Now, pull back, transition by turning the ball over as you pivot the foot out to the right side. Push the left hand down, bend the right elbow, brush knee. Same thing on the other side. Top hand goes down, left hand floats up. We step and turn. Here's the final one. Now, top hand turns into the shoulder, bottom hand crosses the left. Pull the right hand back as you look to the right side and step back with the left foot. That's 1. Here's 2. 3. And here's 4. Now, here comes the transition, but this time it's with the right hand. Left foot goes parallel. Embrace the tiger. Lift. Now the right hand makes that big sweeping circle. And you're going to step in with your left leg. Transfer the weight so you can step out with the right. Step in with the left. One more time with the right. Stay wide with your feet. Now step back in with the right. Transfer the weight out with the left. In with the right. One more time out with the left. Stay in a wide stance. Complete your turn and embrace the tiger. Now adjust the toes outward, 45 degrees, drop down. Gather from the earth. Gather from the heavens. All right, that was the last one. So let's make our feet parallel. Lower the hands slowly. Bring the hands all the way down, and then we shift to the right leg. Step in with the left. Do our bamboo in the wind. Pause for a moment. And this again is where we want to connect with the body, connect with the breath, and connect with the mind. Good. Let's shake that out a little bit. Whew. Right, how we doing? So interesting practice, right? And in time, it'll grow on you. It'll refine more as you go. Right now, I know you're feeling a little bit clumsy. That's the way I felt for a long time when I first went through it. There's 5 different Tai Chi forms now that I know. And every time I went through it, it was a learning process, even though many of the forms were the same. You're turning, you're making different directions, you're taking different kinds of steps. But right now, you just need to focus on some of these basics. And I want to take a few minutes, go back through some of the basics of the footwork, go back through some of the basics of the forms. So let's just start with the footwork. Remember we did the shift and pivot drill a few sessions ago. Shift and pivot was simply nothing more than shifting the weight to one side, picking up the toes, turning the torso, bringing the weight into that leg, and then shifting back, coming to the center. You want to get used to doing that quite easily and effortlessly. Notice that I'm shifting the weight by bending the knees. I'm not leaning with the shoulders. I'm keeping the spine upright, and it's just a forward knee bend and then a forward knee straightens. Come back in. Same thing. Both knees are taking part because I'm keeping both knees soft. So as one straightens, one bends. The feet pivot around the heels. 90% of the time in Tai Chi and Qigong, if you need to turn, you're turning by pivoting the torso either on the heel or on the ball of the foot, depending on what you're doing. As you do your shift and pivot a few times, then try to make it a little more difficult. Bring most of the weight over into one leg, let the heel of the other foot come off the floor, and then bring it back down. Feel that emptiness and fullness happen throughout the body, especially the legs and feet. This is full, this is empty. In time, a few more repetitions, you get to the point where you find that comfortable spot, or what we call the Tai Chi pole, from the arch of the foot to the crown of the head. They should be relatively aligned. And then you can pick this other foot up, do whatever you need to do with it, and still maintain a decent amount of balance, okay? Then put that foot down, do the same thing on the other side. Shift and pivot. When you're ready, take that other foot off the floor. The weight-bearing leg should be bent. You should have a nice knee bend there. The toes are doing a lot of things. They're gripping, releasing. Your body's making little adjustments. That's good. That means that we've reawoken those neurosensors that are in the feet, and there's good communication going on to the brain on what to do about balance. Okay? Once you've done the shift and pivot and gotten to that point where you can hold yourself on one leg, then we want to think about walking forward. And remember this little rule of keeping your feet shoulder width apart. We call it walking on the railroad tracks. I do my shift and pivot. No matter what I do with this leg, it doesn't matter, provided when I place the foot back down, I'm still shoulder width apart. So as I do my form, I end up in a nice stable position where I have most of my weight on one leg or the other, never really on both, all right? And I'm able now to move the body into the next form, whatever that form may be. It could be a drop into something, or it could be a kick. Doesn't really matter. Our form doesn't have those, but as you progress, you may find more of those. Balance is so key to this. So you take your step, you pivot back. You pivot outside. The reason we pivot outside is to help bring the mass of the body through. If we stayed this way, we would have to compensate by leaning to get the other leg and hip through. However, if we turn and pivot, and we also bring the hips and shoulders with it, now it's just a question of bringing this leg through. All right, it makes walking a lot easier if I don't have to swing the hips and shoulders. That's taken care of before that. So you shift back after your form, shift back, pivot, and notice shoulders, hips, and eyes all moved at the same time. Now I'm ready to get into the next position. And there wasn't a whole lot of movement here. It was just moving this leg from here to here. Now I transfer and again, rotate the body towards your target, okay? So play with Tai Chi walking a lot. It's really, really important. Another thing to remember is when we do our Tai Chi practice, the arms are not used a lot. And I know that's a crazy thing to say, but the best demonstration I can give you is on waving hands like clouds. When I do that the first few times in a class and I ask my students to follow, this is what I see most of the time. They're doing something like this. That's because they're so focused on watching the teacher. They want to see what's going on. They don't want to turn away. But the way we do that form, as you've started to learn, is we open, swing that arm around, but that's the last time the arm swings. We switch hands, We turn back. Switch hands again, turn back. Now, if I don't turn the torso, the arms look like this. That's the only thing that's going on, is I'm changing position, one hand to the other. But when I begin to turn the torso, it looks like I'm doing so much more, right? And that's the same thing for all the moves. Part the wild horse's mane. Not a lot going on. A lot of my students do this, but it's really just a very subtle move. One hand comes straight down, the other hand follows the center line of the body and comes up. So think about that when you practice. Nail down exactly what's happening with different parts of the body. Remember that all parts of the body move together. Keep yourself grounded, and remember, more importantly than anything else, no matter what, make sure you're breathing rather than holding your breath. All right, folks, this has been a great session. Let's get together again soon and see what we can come up with. All right, take care.